Welcome to Apothecary After Dark, the official podcast of Amityville Apothecary.
This is what real witches talk about when the doors are locked, the lights are low, and the incense is still smoldering.
From spell work and shadow work to hot takes on hexes, healing, and everything in between, we're serving up magic, mystery, and a little bit of mischief.
So pour a cup of your favorite libation, light that protection candle, and settle in. It's about to get witchy.
Welcome back, everyone, to the latest episode of Apothecary After Dark. I am Danielle, also known as Danny, and my sidekick here is my bestie, Dina.
Hey, hey.
I am so delighted to introduce you guys to this next guest. I have been a huge fan of Abiola for years now. So to have this opportunity to introduce her to you and to have the opportunity for her to represent her work, and what we have right here in front of us is the Faces of Oshun Oracle deck, which is the most recent. I'm just delighted to have you here. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, yay. Thank you, goddesses. I'm so excited for this opportunity to play with you.
So I had the privilege of attending. Dina and I went to a Hay House event. Hay House is one of the largest publishers in the space. And we attended the event, and I did a breakout session that Abiola led. And your energy is just simply contagious and magnetic and joyful and rich and abundant. And we were dancing and I think probably crying and singing and chanting. And it was so wonderful. Can you talk a little bit about your practice? You have a book on manifesting, and I
Yes.
just think it permeates and emanates out of you. So
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, we have a lot of fun in person, and I try my best for us to also have the same kind of fun when I am curating and creating virtual experiences as well. So my work is all about awakening our self-worth and awakening the goddess within. That is the crux of my work. Remember who you really are. Remember who you really are, and to step into the power of becoming who you were born to be. Because I really feel like, when we're born, these beautiful, innocent, perfect children and human beings, and then life tells us other stories about ourselves. And so, unfortunately, the older that we get, the more that we develop, beliefs about ourselves, patterns of behavior that are out of alignment with us living our biggest, brightest, juiciest lives that we deserve to live. And so my work is about using primarily ancestral practices such as oracle and manifestation and other practices to help us remember who we are and be able to create the juiciest lives possible.
I love that. So, being that I've had the chance to meet you and now everyone's getting to meet you, it definitely is something that you embody and personify. And just the use of the colors in your deck, like the rich, opulent colors of the golds and the brightness of the colors and the reality of the different body shapes that you capture, and the opulence and richness used and incorporated into this deck in particular, the Faces of Oshun Oracle. Can you talk a little bit about who Oshun is for those who are listening who aren't as familiar?
Yes. So I am passionate about talking about and sharing about Oshun. Oshun is an Orisha, meaning force of nature or deity, from the Yoruba culture on the west coast of Africa. And she was initially a small river goddess who represented a specific region. And the very interesting thing about Orishas, goddesses, and gods from that region is that many of them are deified ancestors, meaning that at one point in time they were living human beings. And Oshun is one such energy. So she was married to Shango, who was a king in that region. And she was his queen consort, one of his three wives. And after he died, he was deified, and so was she. And she has this magnetic energy. She is a goddess of love, a goddess of beauty, a goddess of abundance. Her energy is very much that of the divine feminine that many of us, particularly, in New York, where we're broadcasting from, the energy of New York is very hustle, hustle, hustle. You can rest when you die. If you're not winning, you're losing. Like, this is very much the energy of New York. And it's a natural energy that, a lot of us, throughout the country and throughout the world, regardless of gender expression, take on. And I very much believe that, just speaking for myself, that, there was a period of time where I like to say I was over yanged, where I was like over in my yang energy, like very strongly and out of balance. And working with Oshun will help you to come back into balance with the sweetness of life. So that's why on the back of her card, you see the honeybee, the honeycomb, the honey bees represent the energy of Oshun, the sweetness, but she's also rage, the fullness of expression. And so a lot of the times when we talk about divine feminine, people get confused. Like, don't get it twisted. We're not talking about, sugar and spice and everything nice. No, this is the full range of our human experience and expression, and being able to revel in the energy of the divine feminine without thinking of it as less than or inadequate or not enough or all of those things. And so that is the energy of Oshun. And every single deck that I've done, so I have 3 decks that I've done with Hay House now, but I actually started decks way before working with Hay House, and even with those decks, also had an expression of Oshun in those decks. And so I got the nudge from her, the ancestral calling from her. I'm from my family is ancestrally from that region where she is based, of the Oshun-Oshogbo River. And so I got the nudge from her that is like, okay, she's like, she wants her own deck. Like, okay, this is nice to be a part of those other decks. That's cute. But I need my own deck.
Oh, I
and
love
so
that.
That is what this is.
So you bring up a good point, because as you're talking to 2 white girls from Long Island, some people might say, okay, but I'm not African and I'm not of African descent. Like, how can I work with this energy? Is it
Yes.
appropriate for me to work with this energy? Because I remember when we got the African Goddess Rising deck, I connected immediately with the energy of those cards. It was so powerful and beautiful, and I loved it. And I was like, well, I'm not of African descent, but
Right.
I still connect. But other people are more cautious. They're trying to be respectful. So what do you say to those people who are listening that might feel intimidated? Because I think energy is energy, but I would love to
Yes.
hear from you on that.
So I love this conversation, my sisters. I love this conversation. And I love also that you are courageous enough for us to have this conversation, because I think that's an important conversation and it's a respectful conversation to have. I feel honored that I have been selected. I feel that I've been personally selected by my ancestors to bring forward this sacred medicine, this ancestral medicine. And the same way that if right now I had access to medicine that could help you and could save your life, and I said, you know what? Nah, this medicine, you're from the wrong culture, so you cannot have this medicine. That's the same way that I have been taught to share this medicine. And I will share with you that I have benefited from working with the Kabbalah. I have benefited from working with Hindu goddesses. I have benefited from working with Native American spiritual practices. And so the same way that those practices have been beneficial to me, And my strength as a teacher, as a healer, as an empathic giver would not be what it was, not having access to all of those beautiful works that have been made available to me. It's the same thing. And I will add to that, that within, and I talk about this in the book, African Goddess Initiation. So African Goddess Rising Oracle Deck has a book that goes with it that's separate from the guidebook, named African Goddess Initiation, that delves deeper into ritual practice. And so one of the things that I share in that book is that there are within certain and specific spiritual practices, there are closed practices as well. And so respectfully, we wouldn't want to be a part of any closed practice, disrespect anybody's practice by being a part of a closed, inserting ourselves into a closed practice. So just like, I'm not going to go and insert myself into things that a church that I'm not a part of, or a synagogue or mosque that I'm not a part of, that they are doing that's closed for them and their members. I wouldn't insert myself into that. And so just using the cards as a part of spiritual medicine, absolutely, you are fully and completely welcome to do so.
Thank you. You articulated that beautifully.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I think there's a lot of spiritual seekers that especially show up on social media that become very intimidated as to how can they respectfully approach what they might, people see Oshun and immediately like, nope, she's closed. They're not for you. You can't even, open the cards, don't look at it. And we've had situations where we have sent your decks out as part of our blind date with a deck practice and have gotten emails back saying, I don't know if I'm allowed to use these oracle cards. And I try not to be really snarky about this, but my sort of email answer back is that for a very long time, publishing was controlled by people that were primarily white and Caucasian. And before, Louise Hay and women, it was white men that were controlling what was being put out there. And so we need to also have real diversity of what we're reading and what we're seeing and who's represented in our markets need to be diverse. And so you can't just consume or buy or read books and decks and tomes of the people that look like you. We need to learn from each other in as respectful as a way as possible. But I think it's incredibly important for your decks to be in the hands of spirit seekers because
Thank you.
it's critically important. And I will continue to make sure we send them out into the world.
Oh, thank you. You're going to make me cry. I absolutely agree with you 1,000,000,000%. And I so appreciate that because a big part, I feel, of the importance of my work and people who are doing work similar to mine is that for a very long time, African spirituality was demonized in the Western world and still is very much, demonized. Yeah. And so, cutting off access in any way is kind of the opposite of what my ancestors have guided me to do.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point is that, you're right. For a long time and still to this day, depending upon where you're from and what your tradition is that you might see this and be like, that's of the devil, that's this and that. And yet, I think it's so important for Oshun and the other Orishas to exist in our world as the energies that they are in a way that people can learn and become acquainted with, because then you won't be so quick to call something that isn't familiar to you as evil or not good.
Yes.
It's
Yes. So that, yeah,
familiarity is so important.
Well, I love
yes.
how in this
Ashe.
deck oh, I found the card that I want. I just opened it immediately the
What's
card
your
I was looking
card? Let's
um,
see.
so this I was very drawn to, the Oshun Ase. Can
Yes.
you ta I
Oh my
think
gosh.
this
Yes.
reminds me of Beyonce. I feel like Beyonce channels this, and
Beyonce
it
does channel. Yes.
yes,
Yes.
with her gold and just larger than life, but the can you talk about what, Oshun's Ase is?
Yes.
Because I think it's a wonderful term, and I love the depiction.
So the reason why I am laughing, dear sister, you'll see when you play this back. There was a little bit of overlap, so you might not have heard me. But right before you turned your card over and revealed what your card, I said the word "ashe." I
I
said
heard you.
"ashe."
You did. I heard you say it.
Yeah, I said Ashe. And so to quote my dear friend and mentor, Colette Baron Reed, you can't make this stuff up. You just cannot.
It's
Like
true.
you just
I love
can't.
her
You
too.
know? And so Ashe is an expression of life force energy. So Ashe means it's similar to the word prana. It's
Mm,
similar to the word chi or ki, but it is also used as an exaltation, like amen or so
mhm,
be it. So it's a declaration. So Oshun's Ashe is her life force energy. It is the energy of the divine feminine. It is the energy of the goddess. It is absolutely the energy that Beyonce and several other well-known people have been working with and channeling and putting forward. And so it was really exciting for me because as a Beyonce fan and someone who, is a devotee of Oshun who's been working with her for 20 years, like when I saw her lemonade, like I knew it immediately. Like there's a video where she opens the door and the water comes pouring out and
yeah,
she's wearing yellow. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, this is so beautiful. Like, so that is what, so that makes sense that you would be drawn to that card because you very much what you do, all of your work is about life force energy.
that
That's
is
the
true.
work that you do. The work you do is about life force energy. So that's what that card is. It's the card of Oshun's life force energy. And in fact, let me pull a card for you and let's see what comes forward.
I'm total
Yay.
fangirling right now that
So
Abiola is
good.
pulling a card for me.
Amazing.
I love it.
All right, let's see. Okay, all right. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we got the card of Oshun of harmonic balance. Harmonic balance. And it's so interesting. I feel like because it's the two of you that we're sitting with, this is the card of harmony, of inner peace, of synchronicity.
And
Of
we're both Libras and
synchronicity.
we both have the same
You
birthday.
are!
Sure.
Oh my gosh! This is the Libra
There you
card.
go.
Exactly. It's
My
perfect for
brother
us.
is a Libra.
Our
So
birthday just
happy birthday
passed.
to you both.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
That's so
So I
perfect.
I so love that, someone told me at Hay House when I came on, they said, that they were like, you are, working in the spirit of Lulu, Louise Hay, that's what they call her. And I
Mhm.
feel the same like whenever I encounter you and people like you all like who are doing this is, we're all daughters of her work in a way, and so I
Yeah.
love that, conversations that were once obscure and weird and the strange corners of the
Yeah.
earth, are now like, okay, getting more mainstream, if you will.
Yeah, super, super duper mainstream stream. It's so funny because I just pulled out Oshun of Mother's Milk card
Ah.
41. Uh, I mean, it's such a beautiful card and I love the way she's looking down at her child. It's
Yes.
such a
Yes.
joyful, it's just the baby's sleeping and fed and happy and content and will never feel safer ever in its life than where
Yes.
where it
Right
is
there.
in its mother's arms. But her face is so joyful and loving. And I will tell you that I I am, I don't know, like a folk practitioner.
Mhm.
Um, but I have carved dozens and dozens of fertility candles dedicated to Oshun on behalf of women trying to get pregnant. And there are a lot of babies out there
Oh,
because, because of this energy.
yes, 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 yes. Ashe to
A
that.
lot of
Ashe to that.
it's just beautiful. It's so beautiful. So I this depiction is gorgeous, and I think I'm going to have to steal this and
It's
put it on the fertility altar.
it's so
Yes. Oh my
beautiful.
gosh, that makes me cry. That's so beautiful. I want to just then take a moment to just acknowledge the beautiful artist, Destiny Powell, who I work with. And if you don't mind, I want to just share a little bit about
Yeah.
that because I feel like, it's an important part of my work getting to collaborate with her. I just had the opportunity to collaborate with her again for this book that's coming out next year. But the artist that I've worked with for 3 decks, for African Goddess Rising Oracle, for Secrets of the Ancestors, and now for Faces of Oshun Oracle. Her name is Destiny Powell, and she is a young Black woman and mother from down south, from southern US. And when I saw her work, I was just blown away, and I felt very strongly that she was the artist to work with. And very interestingly enough, Hay House had given me a deadline by which to either find an artist that you're happy with, or we're going to assign an artist to you. And I felt really strongly that that Destiny was the one. And there were some people at the time that felt like, well, but she's never done a deck before, she's never done any of this before. But her work was very goddess oriented, even though she wasn't using that language. And I felt like I am, like you, very empathically connected, and felt like my guides were like, okay, she is the one. So the funny thing is that Hay House had given me this deadline, and the clock was ticking down, and I'd already gone and argued on her behalf, and they were like, she's never done this before. And I was like, well, no one's ever done anything before, and they won't do it until they do it. Like, you can't, you know what I mean? That's not a reason for someone not to do something. Like, no one, people don't come out of the womb having designed oracle cards.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone has to be the first person to give someone a chance to do something. And so then, after arguing on her behalf as a person who's newly with, Hay House, who I've wanted to be with Hay House forever and ever, my whole life. And, then I couldn't get her to call me back because I was trying to contact her through social media. And she thought I was like an Instagram spammer or weirdo or something, hey, come with me. I want to, whatever. And she just assumed it was spam and wouldn't reply. And so then, Leo that I am, I stalked her on every single social platform. I was like, okay, the clock was winding down. I was like, all right, I got her. I found her on Instagram, found some old, Facebook, old pages she wasn't even using. Somehow found her phone number associated with one of those, and was texting her, DMing her on every platform. And I was like, I'm trying to give you money. I was like, you don't have to believe me. I was like, but look at Hay House, go to hayhouse.com. This is legit. And then she texted back, and she was like, oh, okay. Okay, you're not an Instagram spammer. This is
my
real.
God. That is hysterical.
The art is beautiful. I'm glad you were so persistent.
Yeah, no, it's gorgeous.
Thank you. And her work is magnificent. And I've seen her work also grow and develop as we've been working together. And I felt very much also that because my family is from the Caribbean. I'm born in New York, but my family's from the Caribbean, and her family is, multi-generational, born in the U.S. And I felt like it was a coming together, a closed circuit of the African diaspora for us to work together to bring forward this work together. And so Yes. And so that Hay House had also warned me, because I come with a lot of notes and charts and believe it or not, like a lot of, like even like spreadsheets and sketches and Pinterest boards and everything, like for each card, because I'm downloading straight from the source. And
Yeah.
so they were like, this is too much. Like, you can't expect, they literally said, like, you can't expect that an artist is going to do all of that. Like, but Destiny gets it. She is way into it, and is also like, so it's a beautiful experience.
It's amazing.
And you know what? It absolutely shows when that connection between, the creator, or the creatrix, and the goddess and the artist, when that all comes together, you could tell it. There's so much synergy in the design, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Really.
Thank you.
I think it's so important, to what we were talking about earlier. Thank you for the work that you're doing. A big part of Dina and my business is to make sure that people of all walks of life and all different practices and all different levels in their practice have the tools that they need at their fingertips, whether it represents my personal practice or Dina's, or, everybody's different, but we really strive to have everything on hand to service whatever your particular practice is for everybody.
Yeah. We want people to walk in and find something that's going to bring them spiritual comfort, spiritual understanding, that they're going to see themselves in cards and books and practices.
We have books on hoodoo practices.
We're so lucky that we have access to, amazing publishers that are publishing and putting out diverse and interesting works.
I want people to walk into our business and to be seen and to have their practice recognized and honored, and that they have the tools and resources available to them. So,
oh my goodness,
this appeals to the specific narrow closed practice, but broadly it introduces people that might not be as familiar. It provides education as well as beautiful energy. I mean, there's so many faces of Oshun, and you could learn all the different aspects of this goddess queen that she is. She deserves a recognition. So thank you for creating this and for all the work that you do, because I'm a huge fan.
You're great.
And I look forward to your future products that you're creating, and come and visit us here in New York.
I absolutely will.
Take a ride out.
Thank you. I will. We're you.
Sisters,
thank you for the work you do.
Thank you. Too close that you have to come and visit us. So
where can people find out more? What's your website? What's your social media? How can people stay in touch with you?
So people can come and hang out with me at womanifesting.com. So like manifesting.com, but womanifesting.com. And I'm on Instagram at Abiola TV. So Abiola and TV, like transformation and victory. And I'm on YouTube at Planet Abiola. And you can also find me on wherever you find podcasts at the Goddess Temple Podcast. Goddess Temple Podcast on any podcast platform.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We are so honored and thrilled. It was amazing. And for all of you watching or listening at home, let us know what you think, what stood out for you. We'd love to hear your comments, thoughts, and of course, subscribe and share with your friends. We are so thankful that you joined us again, you guys.
Thanks for spending so much time with us, Abiola. We're really grateful.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you and the brave work that you put into the world.
Thank you.
You're the best. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
That's all for tonight, witches, but the magic doesn't stop here.
Be sure to follow Apothecary After Dark wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Leave us a comment or review. We'd love to hear what's stirring in your cauldron.
And you can always find us at shopamityvilleapothecary.com or at Amityville Apothecary across all the socials.
Until next time, keep your wards up, your wands at the ready, and your spell work sharp.